Hi everyone. So my name is Suresh Choksey. Today we want to cover the namespace and the kubectl commands, and this is the Kubernetes training series. Okay. So till now we had covered the maybe pods part, replica set, and deployment. And today we will cover the namespace and kubectl commands. Okay. So before that, maybe meanwhile we can start at least creating the cluster. At least it will take some time, and then meanwhile we can cover the what is the namespace part. So I hope maybe Dilip, you are aware about right how to create the cluster.
Yes.
Okay. So same thing, we need to check whether any nodes are available or not. So kubectl you get nodes. There is no nodes. Okay. Now we need to check the how we can create it. Okay. So GC cloud. Okay. Container clusters, create my cluster. Okay. Num node, num nodes. Okay. 3 zone US central 1 hyphen a. Minimum, this commands is minimum important. Let's see whether it is created or not. Okay. Authorize. Okay. So it is created. So now we can check the what is the namespace. So namespace, what is the namespace? If you are aware about the Java and something in the maybe Node.js also in the Java, we have the packages. In packages, suppose you are working on some projects. Okay, in the projects also, suppose you are working on some different maybe features, right? And some under the projects also you have some projects, so some sub project. Okay, so if you want to bind the all the applications, all the deployment replica set and the services and parts into the one entity, and all the resources are aligned with the common thing. Okay, suppose maybe in your projects you are working on the payment domain, you are so somebody is working on the author payment, somebody is working on the inventory. Okay, so at least we can create a payment domain as a namespace or packages, and whenever we are creating the space. Okay, whenever we are creating the pod, so we can align to the namespace. So what is the advantage of these things? Whenever we have the pod and services and deployment, and whenever they are interacting with each other, immediately they can communicate each other. Okay, because they are under the common namespace. Okay, so connectivity point of view, namespace is very much important. Okay, if you can see here, so namespace is a way of the create a virtual cluster within a physical cluster. It allows you to partitions resources such as pods, services, storage in a Kubernetes cluster to create isolated environment. Suppose if you want to create a protected environment, right? So nobody can access it. Okay, we can say secure environment. Okay, so what is the key points of the namespace? Isolation. Namespace provides a way to isolate resource within a cluster, and resources created in one namespace are separate, independent from resources created in another space. Okay, so we can protect the our pods and services from the other resources which are available in the another namespace. Okay, and resource scope, pod services, replica set, and other Kubernetes resources can associate within a specific namespace. Okay, and default namespace, if we can see that default namespace, if you can see kubectl get ports, so by default Kubernetes is providing the default namespace. Okay, so what is the command we need to run? Hyphen namespace. We can give the, suppose if you want to get the pod name, pods of the specific namespace, so you can mention hyphen namespace is equal to whatever namespace you are created. So and we can have the multiple namespaces also. So Kubernetes cluster can have multiple namespace, each serving as a logical partition within a cluster. Okay, just like in your desktop, right? You are creating the different directory for the protecting the folder and organize the thing in based on the your drive, right? Suppose you have some folder for work, you have some folder for family. So rather than you are storing all the information, all the folder into the C drive, and you need to organize. First thing is organize thing, and maybe in the future, if suppose if you want to protect your drive from some other people, you can immediately protect the completely, you can block the completely drive. Okay, so similar kind of thing, namespace, and we can add the security in the namespace level. Okay, so under the namespace you can create a parts, under the namespace you can create a deployment, under the namespace you can create a services. Okay, and resource naming, resources within a namespace must have unique names within that namespace. However, the same name can be reused in the different namespace. Okay, and how we can set the names. First of all, how we can create a namespace. So namespace is very easy thing. It's similar kind of thing. Whenever you are whenever you are creating the pod, so there is a kind, right? API version v1, kind is equal to namespace. Just like we have the pod and deployment replica set for the kind side, same thing we can create in the namespace. And metadata, just like MySpace. So whenever we are creating this part, we can create our custom namespace. Okay, so let's see what is the progress in our side. So it is still available. Okay, so do you understand the what is the meaning of the namespace? Dilip, Dilip, are you there? Okay, and we can see the very good document in the namespace document also. Okay, here we can go the namespace. Okay, in the updated, not this one. Services. Okay, networking 10. Okay, this one. Okay, so if you can see here, namespaces. Suppose you have the multiple pods in your cluster, right? But you want to protect, you want to differentiate the all the pods in different way. Okay, so just like you can create a namespace for the DAB environment. Even we can use the namespace for the environment base also. Okay, suppose you want to use some parts for the you want to create a parts for the some dev environment, production environment, right, test environment. Okay, so you can create a namespace for environment base, and then you can align the all the services part and deployment for the based on the environment base. Okay, if you can see here, service name. So this is a namespace. Under the namespace you can create a services, under the namespace you can create a part. Okay, and all the namespace are maybe different from the other services. If you want to communicate with the pods to services or deployment and replica set, immediately you can communicate, but you can't communicate directly into the across the namespace. Okay, so this is the thing. And how we can get the namespace? kubectl get namespaces. Okay, this is the thing. And if you can see the, if you want to see the if you want to see the parts of a specific namespace, you can give the kubectl get part hyphen hyphen namespace is equal to kube system. Okay, this is the way we can create very easily. Now you can check the progress. Now if you can see here, right, kubectl get node. Okay, so get nodes. So suppose I want to see the all the namespaces. So how we can do? kubectl get namespaces. So how many namespaces are available here? Default is the by default. Okay, default namespace. GMP system. These are the internal system. Cube node lease, cube public, cube system. Suppose if you want to see the number of pods into the cube system. Okay, so how we can check? So kubectl get pods hyphen hyphen namespace. Okay, cube system. Okay, if you can see, these are these are the parts which is created under the cube system name. And by default, what is the by default namespace? It is the default, and it is mentioned the active. If you want to see the default namespace, how many parts are created under the default namespace? How we can check? Again, kubectl get parts namespace. No resources found in the default namespace. Can you go on the mute, maybe? Philip? Yeah, thanks a lot. So now, suppose you want to create an parts, okay? Suppose you want to, we can create a parts for Nginx, kubectl, create kubectl, and this one, we run Nginx, image, Nginx, okay? So if you can see the list, get parts, okay, by default it is working and it is running also. Now we want to check the all the details, okay? So get parts -o wide level, okay? So if you can see here, ready state, node, nominated node, and readiness gates. So if you want to check the what is the namespace of the this part, okay, how we can check it? Check kubectl describe part nginx. Okay, so there should be some namespace available here. Okay, namespace. What is the namespace available? Default. Okay. Suppose now I want to create a namespace. So how we can create a namespace? Simple. Okay, we will first of all we need to check the okay creates. Okay, so we can open the editor. Okay, folder. Okay, demo. Under the demo, we can create a namespace .yml. So what is the thing? How we can create it? API version v1. That's it. Okay, kind namespace metadata name. Okay, dab. Suppose I want to create a dab name. Okay, then save it on terminal. ls command cd demo ls command. We have this. So how we can create it? Create app namespace. Okay, so now we can check the what is the namespace is created. How we can check it? ns. Okay, so dab is all is created, right? Now I want to assign something. Okay, yeah, I want to create a pod under the namespace. How we can create it? Again, we can create a nginx. Okay, so my nginx we can say my nginx or dav nginx, dav run dav nginx hyphen image. Okay, nginx. Okay, now if you want to create under the default, then maybe in the dev environment, then we need to mention and okay dev. No. Okay, so maybe yes. Okay, So how we can check it whether it is available or not? How we can check? Simple describe command. Describe. Okay. Pod. What is the name? Dev environment, right? Dev Nginx. We can directly search grep namespace. Let's see whether it is printed or not. Dev Nginx is not available. Describe pod. Okay, let me check the pod is created or not. Okay, sorry, my bad. Okay, okay, okay. 1 minute. Okay. So if you want to see the get pod name under the this one, so we need to mention name dev. Yeah, so dev nginx is available. Okay, now we want to check the describe command. We want to check the describe command with namespace. So which namespace we want to check? Okay, so now we can check describe. Okay, so describe pod where it is available, dev nginx -n dev, then grep, then namespace. Okay, let me check what is the thing it is giving here. Okay, so what is the namespace it is mentioned? Namespace, right? So name is capital. Okay, let me check one more time. It is should be give. Yeah, are you able to see? Dev, right? It is very simple. Am I audible?
Yeah. So by default, the pods are created into default namespace, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, suppose you want to create an environment, right? In the cluster environment, you want to create a different environment, dev environment, prod environment, right? And you want to create each and everything under the environment. Okay.
So so how do I get all the pods now? Because when you did kubectl get pods, we did not see the dev ngx.
Yes. Because by default it is under the default this thing, right? If you are not giving the space, if you are not giving the namespace, right? Just like
Okay.
this one, right?
Yes, yes,
So it
understand.
is
Yeah.
it is by default it is a default. Okay, but if you want to see the all the resources under the this, suppose if you want to see the get get all, right? Get all under this is the default one, right? Get all. Now I want to check the all the resources under the dev environment. How we can check? Name dev. Okay, only one resources. Suppose I want to create a any deployment. Okay, suppose create deployment. Okay, my dev deployment, right? Replicas, replicas 3. Is it okay? And image nginx and -n dev. Good. It will work or not? Work, right? Let's see. Create it. Now we can check get all -n dev. Are you able to see?
Yes.
Automatically everything is created, right? If you want to see the by default, in the by default, it is not available. It is available. So you can protect the thing, right?
So it is like binding it separately.
Yes. Based on the environment, based on the because suppose you if you are working on the production and you want to protect that production from the developer and someone, right? So you can protect the all the things just like in the security form, right? And suppose maybe suppose if you want to create a network, right? And suppose maybe you want to create a network in a such a manner, maybe you can access the pod within a, there is a two pod, and they want to communicate within the namespace, within the same space. Okay.
So
Yeah.
so if you want to get anything that is inside a namespace, we always have to give that -n
Yes.
namespace command.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
But you can make a suppose if you want to make a dav as a default. Okay, so whenever you are running the command kubectl get pods, by default it will give your environment namespace. So you want to make a dav as a default namespace. So suppose I am creating another namespace. Create, this is another way, namespace. Okay, test. Okay, so now test environment is created. So what is the command we need to use for the this purpose? So what is the thing we have to check till now? So how many namespace are available in our system? It should be get ctl get ns. Okay. So we have the test also, dev also, and default also, right? This one is available. Get pods are available. Okay, how we can create it? Simple. We have with the help of the declarative way. This is the declarative way. With the help of the YML file, we can create. Okay, now assign the object. So whenever you are creating the any part and something, right, you can mention the namespace. Okay, and with the help of the pod also, right? Suppose I want to create a one simple pod. How we can mention? Suppose I want to create a this one. Wait, open pod test pod dot YML. Okay, API version v1 kind data spec pod in my test pod. Okay, now labels app test pod. Here you can give the namespace. Okay, and what is that next namespace? Test. Okay, under this you can create a containers with namespace. Okay, test gen x image gen x. Okay, now it is done. Let's check whether it is working or not. Ls command. Okay, test pod kubectl create even app test pod dot iml. Okay, so did not find expected key. Okay, so what is the expected key? Line number 6. Why it is giving a 6? Part namespace labels. Here it is wrong. My part. Okay. Namespace labels. Let me check. Okay. Here. Mm, 1 minute. Okay. One way. We have the one way process. We can do one thing. Okay. We have the
Suresh,
Default.
the indentation is mistake, I think.
Oh,
The namespace is inside the labels.
oh, sorry. Yes, might be. Done? It happened. Yes. Okay. So now this is done. Now we want to check the get pod. This is by default. This is the div. This is the test. Got it? Now we want to check the how we can set the by default. How we can check the by default? There is some code set something. Set properties. Set get pod. Okay. Okay. Minute. Create. Yes. So kubectl config set context current namespace is equal to name. Okay. So what is the thing? Kubectl set config is the thing. This is the problem. Okay. So kubectl config. Okay. Set config set context. Then current config first. Config first. Set context. Okay. Then what is the thing? Set context. Okay. Then current. Okay. Then namespace name. Then current namespace. Now we want to set the dev. Okay. So now name is set, right? Now we want to check the whenever we are running the by default. Okay. By default, it is giving the dev environment, right? If you want to check the this part, get all, it is giving the by default. This is the by default. What is your default environment? Dev environment. If you want to check the default one, right? Okay, default parts. So how we can check it? Same.
We need to change it again.
No. kubectl because you are currently in the dev environment. Now you want
Okay,
to check
we
in
can
the
give hyphen n
hyphen
default.
app. Yes, get all hyphen and default. Now you want to check the test environment. Simple. And now we want to check the by default again. Default easy. Done. If you want to check again, easy. Okay. The namespace is very much important for the for because whenever we are creating something in the project level, right? In the company level, namespace is very much important. First of all, we need to create a namespace. Then after that, we are creating the pods and all other things. Now, second topic is the maybe imperative commands. So suppose whenever you are running something, right? Running something on the so there is a two way. One is a declarative way, in which maybe you can create a pod, replica set, and deployment using the definition file. And second way is that with the help of the commands, you can create each and everything. Okay, just like imperative commands can help in the getting one-time task done quickly as well as the generate definition template easily. Okay, and dry run. Suppose whenever you are running the creating the something, but if you before the creating something you want to see the what is the YML file. Okay, so how we can check it? Dry run by default, as soon as the command is run, resource will be created. And if you simply want to test your command, use the dry run client option. This will not create a resource, instead tell you whether the resource can be created if your command is right. And YML, yo means output. Okay, and which format you want to see the output. Okay, either you can see the JSON format, you can see the YML format, you can see the wide label. Okay, this will output the resource definition in the YML format. And you can see, first of all, kubectl run nginx hyphen nginx and dry run command client. And you want to see the you want to upload the all the information output into the YML file. So we can check how we can do it. So suppose kubectl run nginx nginx image. Okay, nginx dry run client. Okay, so dry command, dry run, it is created. Okay, but okay, now we can see it is created or not. It is already created, dry run, but you want to see the output. Okay, and oh, YML, but you want to see the whenever you are it is running, you want to see the YML file. So immediately you can see. So before running the thing, right, because it is not created, before the created, you want to see the output. So what is the configuration it is giving? So if you can see v1 pod, suppose you are not able to understand the remember the all the things, right? Your code is you are not remember the code. So you can create a deployment, you can create an nginx, and you want to see the configuration or configuration file for the all the pods. Okay, pods definition file. So before running the things, you can create a, you can see the definition file with the help of the dry run. So that dry run means it is just checking the testing point of view, you can run. Okay, and okay, so this is the thing, API version, it will give you the output only, it will not create anything. Once you will create it, then you can run this way. Then you can run this. Okay, and suppose you want to store something. Okay, okay, so you can see the, so it is not created, it is not created the pod for you. Okay, pod, so only dry nginx and nginx. So it will store, it will run the dry run label, and it will store the output into the dry pod. If you can see, dry pod is available. Okay, so whatever output you have seen here, right, here, same thing you can store the all the things in the database or maybe in the specific file. Okay, so what is the file? Dry pod. Now once you are confirmation, once you have the confirmation, once you have the all validation, right, then you can create a this one, maybe qctl. Okay, and suppose I want
So
to
you
add
can
it.
see any error in that file. It will it show now?
Yeah, try pod also. Okay, but dry pod is suppose maybe I want to edit something, I want to change the name. Okay, I want to change the name, connection time is null, run this. Okay, and nginx this, and name metadata, I want to check the test test, and I want to give the namespace here, namespace dev environment. Okay, suppose I don't want to remember the all the code, right, but I want to add something, some of the thing. If you can see, it is already given that resource type, DNS policy, restart policy, each and everything it is already given. Now I want to commit it, and then I want to run again. kubectl create app try pod. Okay, now it is created. Okay, so we can check. So it is not available here, right, because we have mentioned that namespace, right? dev environment. If you can see, test nginx is available. Okay, so in the nginx, sorry, in the certification type, right, whenever we are giving the certification exam, you should remember the all the things before creating anything. You should validate first. So how we can validate? With the help of the dry run client. Okay, this is the one of very important code. And after that, you can store the code. Suppose already some deployment is already running, but if you want to see the code of these things, suppose we have the deployment, right? This deployment, uh, kubectl get all hyphen and dev. Now I have already created the deployment, but I want to see I want to store the deployment configuration into my configuration. Okay, how we can create it? Kubectl get deployment. Okay, my tab deployment. Okay, hyphen n dev. Okay, hyphen o yml. Okay, my tab deployment dot yml file. Okay, now you can see. So my cat tab deployment. Yeah. So if you can see, generally we are creating the some we are creating, we are using some of the keys, right? But whenever you are seeing the output, whenever you are storing the output into the file, you can see all the things is available here. Okay, and how we can check it? In the maybe in the ls command you can check here. We can go here. This one. Okay, API version, apps v1, deployment, metadata, annotation is available. Okay, and the create timestamp is also available. Generation it is available. Labels, namespace, resource version, which version it is, even UID, spec. So all the by default thing it is already stored, and which is the deployment type, rolling update, right? Maximum this person. So all the things is stored here. Okay, because generally whenever we are creating the deployment, we are using the minimum thing, right? So this is the benefit of these thing, you can use for the seeing the output. Now what is the next thing? Creating the nginx. So this is the basic command, right? kubectl run nginx and hyphen image in nginx. And we have already checked this command also. So in the how we can create a deployment? Kubectl create deployment hyphen image nginx. This is very simple without replicas. Okay, and generate the output. Just we check the about how we can check how we can generate the output into the yml file. And we can how we can check the replicas? Previously we check, right? Kubectl create deployment nginx hyphen image nginx hyphen replicas is equal to 4. And how we can scale it? It is very easy. So clear. Okay, kubectl get all and tab. We should have the replicas also, right? So right now we have the replicas. How many replicas are available? Scale desired means it is expecting the desired 3 and current is a 3. Now I want to scale from 3 to 4. What is the command? Okay, so scale deployment. Okay, what is the deployment name? My tab deployment. Now replicas equal to 4. I think it should be run. Okay, yes, scale deployment nginx replicas 4. Okay, and but we need to mention the pod, otherwise it is not available. If suppose if I am running without namespace, so what is the thing? Okay, because no object passed to scale, because there is no deployment available in the default. By default it is checking in the default namespace. That's why, because whenever we are creating the namespace, always we need to mention this part. Now it is scale, right? So namespace is very much important. If you are creating the namespace, every time you need to give the namespace name. Clear?
Yeah.
Okay. So now scale part is done. Create deployment. We have already checked this part also. Okay. Service part. Okay. So service is just like in the code, right? In the maybe in the Docker site also. So whenever you want to expose the port number, how we can expose it with the help of the services. So we will cover next time. But you can see, maybe suppose you want to open the port, right? So kubectl expose port redis and this thing. So expose is the just like in the export, you want to open the port number for the outside world. So kubectl expose pod, pod name, which pod you want to export. Pod name is the redis and -fn pod 6379. And you want you need to create a service. So service is very much important. Next week we will cover it. So this services how we can create a services. So this is the imperative commands. It is very useful, and it is very useful for the certification side, or suppose you want to run very quickly, okay, in the any environment. So it is very easy. Okay. So this is for today for this session. Okay, we will cover the next session is the command and arguments and the config map. So I'm stopping the session, and then we can start again for next topic. So what is the thing? How we can stop it? Stop recording.